The roar of the crowd chants his name, his every word makes headlines, and his image has become synonymous with FC Porto. Pinto da Costa, the man who doesn't score goals or grace the pitch, has become the most influential figure in the club's history. For over 3 decades, this enigmatic leader has guided the Dragons, amassing a trophy cabinet overflowing with silverware, but also leaving a trail of controversies in his wake. Born in the Sedefeita neighborhood of Porto in 1937, Jorge Nuno Pinto da Costa was the 4th child of José Alexandrino Teixeira da Costa and Maria Elisa Bessa de Lima Amorim. His early exposure to football came courtesy of his uncle, Armando, a former president of Famalicão, who took the young Pinto to his first FC Porto match against SC Braga at the historic Campo da Constituição. Though the 8-year-old may not have fully grasped the intricacies of the game, the experience left an indelible mark on him. In 1956, the rebellious spirit of young Jorge Nuno asserted itself. Defying his mother's wishes, he abruptly ended his formal education after completing high school. Instead of pursuing higher education, he opted for the practical path, securing a job at a bank. His entrepreneurial spirit soon led him to explore other avenues, transitioning to roles as a chemical products salesman and later in the field of household appliances. The pivotal moment in Pinto da Costa's journey arrived in 1958. President Cesario Bonito invited him to join the board of the club's roller hockey team. This marked the beginning of his deep involvement with FC Porto. Accompanying the team to Torres Vedras for a crucial match, he witnessed firsthand their triumphant victory, a moment that would forever shape his connection to the club. 3 years later, he ascended to the position of head of section, overseeing not only roller hockey, but also field hockey and boxing. During this time, he forged a strong friendship with boxing legend Reinaldo Teles. In 1969, he accepted a position under President Afonso Pinto Magalhães, taking on responsibility for amateur sports. However, when Américo de Sá succeeded Magalhães, Pinto da Costa declined to continue, believing that the new president should have the autonomy to assemble his own team. 5 years later, Américo de Sá invited him back, granting him full authority over coaching staff and player recruitment for the 1976-77 season. This marked the return of legendary coach José Maria Pedroto, a partnership that proved to be incredibly successful. In their first season together, they secured the Portuguese Cup. The following year, they ended a 19-year league title drought, and in the 3rd season, they achieved the remarkable feat of back-to-back championships, a feat that, even decades later, remains a testament to their enduring legacy. The events surrounding the 1980 Portuguese Cup final led to a bitter falling out between the duo and President Américo de Sá. Accusing the president of capitulating to the influence of rival clubs, both Pedroto and da Costa resigned from the club, triggering an exodus of 14 players in solidarity. While some players remained loyal, the team's fortunes faltered significantly in the absence of their guiding forces. Determined to restore the club's glory, da Costa decided to run for president in the 1982 elections. He emerged victorious and wasted no time in fulfilling his campaign promises. Although Pedroto's illness prevented him from returning to the bench, Porto mounted a formidable challenge against Juventus in the Cup Winners' Cup final, ultimately succumbing to a narrow defeat. Despite this setback, the club continued to progress. Artur Jorge, a protégé of Pedroto, guided the team to back-to-back league titles, coinciding with the completion of the renovated Estadio das Antas, another key promise from da Costa's election campaign. The pinnacle of Porto's success arrived in 1987. In a dramatic away victory against Bayern Munich in Vienna, the Dragons, no longer known as the Andrades, conquered Europe by winning the coveted European Champions Cup. This triumph was followed by an unforgettable Intercontinental Cup victory in Tokyo, achieved amidst a snowstorm that captivated the nation. Under the guidance of Tomislav Ivic, the team further solidified their dominance by claiming the European Super Cup against Ajax, completing an unprecedented treble of international titles. FC Porto continued to amass trophies throughout the 1990s, adding 4 more league titles, 2 Portuguese Cups, and 3 Super Cups to their collection. However, these successes were not enough to satisfy Da Costa's unwavering ambition. Sensing an opportunity, he swiftly intervened when Sporting dismissed Bobby Robson, luring the renowned English manager to Porto. This move proved to be a masterstroke, as Robson laid the foundation for an unprecedented 5 consecutive league titles. Antonio Oliveira and Fernando Santos successfully built upon Robson's legacy, culminating in the historic Penta in 1999. In 2002, Da Costa once again demonstrated his uncanny ability to identify and acquire top talent. He appointed José Mourinho, a coach recently dismissed by Benfica and rejected by Sporting, a decision that would yield extraordinary results. Mourinho guided Porto to unprecedented European glory, securing both the UEFA Cup in Seville and the Champions League in Gelsenkirchen within a remarkable 12-month period. This era of unparalleled success coincided with the inauguration of the magnificent Estadio do Dragão, a testament to Da Costa's vision and commitment to the club's development. The early 21st century witnessed a continuation of Porto's dominance. Co-Adrianza and Jesualdo Ferreira led the team to a tetra, 4 consecutive league titles, and 2 domestic doubles. Ferreira further solidified his legacy with another Portuguese Cup victory, setting the stage for the arrival of André Villas-Boas, a young and ambitious coach who would soon lead the club to new heights. Under the guidance of Villas-Boas, the club continued to thrive. They celebrated a Super Cup victory against Benfica, an undefeated league title secured at the Estadio da Luz, a triumphant Europa League win in Dublin, and a resounding Portuguese Cup victory. Though Villas-Boas departed shortly thereafter, his successor, Vitor Pereira, successfully maintained the club's winning momentum, adding another league title to their impressive tally. The inauguration of the FC Porto Museum on the club's 120th anniversary coincided with the arrival of Sergio Conceição as head coach. Conceição, a former Porto player who had played a crucial role in past triumphs, prevented Benfica from equaling the club's record of 5 consecutive league titles and steered Porto back to the pinnacle of Portuguese football. Since 2017, the club has amassed an impressive collection of trophies: 3 league titles, 3 Portuguese Cups, and 3 Super Cups, solidifying their dominance in Portuguese football. After an extraordinary 42-year tenure, Jorge Nuno Pinto da Costa stepped down from his role as club president on April 23, 2024. His legacy is unparalleled: 2 Champions Leagues, 2 Intercontinental Cups, 2 Europa Leagues, 1 European Super Cup, 23 league titles, 15 Portuguese Cups, 22 Super Cups, and 1 League Cup. Over 15,356 days, he oversaw the acquisition of an astonishing 2,591 trophies across various sports, solidifying his status as the longest-serving and most decorated leader in the history of FC Porto, and undoubtedly the greatest figure in the club's illustrious history. Jorge Nuno Pinto da Costa, while undeniably a driving force behind FC Porto's success, has also been a controversial figure in Portuguese football. His leadership style, often characterized as authoritarian, has drawn criticism, with accusations of exerting undue influence over referees and creating an uneven playing field. Furthermore, His public statements, often critical of rivals and officials, have frequently sparked controversy and fueled animosity within the Portuguese football landscape. The biggest scandal Da Costa was involved with is called Apito Dourado in Portuguese, which translates to the Golden Whistle in English. The Golden Whistle affair cast a long shadow over Jorge Nuno Pinto da Costa's reign at FC Porto, tarnishing his image and shaking the foundations of Portuguese football. This sprawling corruption scandal, which erupted in 2004, implicated numerous figures, including Pinto da Costa himself, in a web of alleged referee bribery and match-fixing. The investigation, codenamed Golden Whistle, unearthed a disturbing picture of potential manipulation within the Portuguese football system. Evidence suggested attempts to influence match outcomes at various levels, from top-tier clashes to lower division encounters. Pinto da Costa, along with former Boa Vista chairman and Portuguese Football League president Valentim Loureiro, found themselves at the center of the storm. The scandal gained further notoriety with the publication of Carolina Salgado's explosive memoir, Me, Carolina, in which she made serious allegations against Pinto da Costa. These damning claims, though vehemently denied by the Porto president, reignited the investigation and intensified public scrutiny. The legal proceedings were protracted and complex, with cases against Pinto da Costa winding their way through the courts. While some charges were dismissed, others, such as an alleged payment to a referee, moved forward. Loureiro was ultimately convicted of abuse of power, but acquitted of corruption charges. The Golden Whistle affair left an indelible mark on Portuguese football. It shattered public trust in the integrity of the game and raised serious questions about the ethical conduct of those at the highest levels of the sport. The scandal served as a stark reminder of the potential for corruption to infiltrate even the most prestigious of institutions, and the importance of upholding the highest standards of fair play. In addition to the legal proceedings, the Portuguese Football League's disciplinary committee, in a parallel investigation, imposed sanctions on Pinto da Costa and FC Porto. Pinto da Costa received a 2-year suspension from all football-related activities, while the club was docked 6 points in the Primeira Liga and fined €150,000. These sanctions further underscored the severity of the allegations and the impact of the scandal on the club and its president. On 3 April 2009, Pinto da Costa was acquitted on all criminal charges related to the Beira-Mar FC Porto match of the 2003-04 season. Porto's deducted points from 2008 were recovered in July 2017. In 2010, many of the Apito Dourado wiretaps were uploaded to YouTube. These evidence included intercepted phone conversations. One particularly notorious conversation involved Pinto da Costa and football agent Antonio Araujo, who discussed sending fruit to sleep with, a coded term for prostitutes, to Jacinto Paixão, the referee assigned to an upcoming FC Porto match. Pinto da Costa chillingly confirmed that the fruit had already been dispatched. This revelation, coupled with a later video confession by Paixão himself, where he admitted to accepting bribes and favors in exchange for favorable officiating, sent shockwaves through the footballing world. Another intercepted conversation documented a meeting between Pinto da Costa, Araujo, and referee Augusto Duarte, scheduled to officiate an upcoming FC Porto match. While Pinto da Costa claimed the meeting was a purely social affair, with Duarte seeking personal advice, the timing and circumstances surrounding the meeting raised serious concerns. The league's disciplinary commission, now the professional arm of the Portuguese Football Federation's Disciplinary Council, surprisingly chose to disregard the wiretapped conversations as evidence in their investigation. This controversial decision raised eyebrows and fueled further criticism of the handling of the Golden Whistle affair. The Golden Whistle affair not only rocked Portuguese football, but also sent tremors through the very foundations of the Portuguese criminal justice system. One of the most contentious aspects of the investigation was the allegation that the judiciary police may have tipped off Pinto da Costa about an impending search of his office, giving him a crucial head start to potentially conceal evidence. While prosecutors expressed strong suspicions about this leak, the inability to pinpoint the source ultimately led to the dismissal of these accusations. The subsequent court decisions, particularly those involving lower division referees, also generated significant controversy. The court's decision to downplay the significance of golden object offers, bribes disguised as gifts, as evidence raised serious questions about the judicial interpretation of corruption. Furthermore, the Golden Whistle affair ignited a heated debate about the balance between individual privacy rights and the pursuit of justice. The use of wiretapping, a crucial tool in the investigation, raised concerns about potential privacy violations. This led to intense discussions about the appropriate limits of surveillance in criminal investigations and the potential impact on individual liberties. The scandal also left a lasting impact on the language of Portuguese football. Code words used in the wiretapped conversations, such as fruta para dormir, fruit to sleep with, referring to prostitutes, café escuro, dark coffee, and latte, referring to the skin tone of the prostitutes, entered the lexicon of Portuguese football, becoming loaded terms used by supporters and officials alike to mock and denigrate clubs implicated in the scandal, including FC Porto, Boa Vista FC, CD Nacional, and Gondomar SC. The Golden Whistle affair was a watershed moment in Portuguese football, exposing the dark underbelly of the sport and raising profound questions about ethics, justice, and the balance of power. Its ramifications continue to reverberate through Portuguese society, serving as a constant reminder of the importance of upholding the highest standards of integrity and fair play. Despite the controversy surrounding the Golden Whistle affair, it's undeniable that Jorge Nuno Pinto da Costa's impact on FC Porto is monumental. He transformed the club from a provincial team into a European powerhouse, consistently challenging the dominance of the traditional giants. Under his leadership, Porto achieved unprecedented success, winning numerous domestic and international trophies, including 2 Champions League titles and 2 UEFA Cups. He cultivated a winning mentality, built a world-class infrastructure, and established Porto as a global brand, attracting top talent from around the world. While the Golden Whistle affair cast a long shadow, it cannot overshadow the undeniable fact that Pinto da Costa left an indelible mark on the history of FC Porto, elevating the club to a level of success previously unimaginable. As mentioned earlier in this video, Pinto da Costa acquired numerous trophies for the club across several different sports. The football team of Porto won 68 trophies, with Jorge Nuno Pinto da Costa as their president. These trophies include, among many others, 23 league titles, 2 Champions League titles, and 2 Europa League titles. This collection of trophies undoubtedly makes Pinto da Costa one of the greatest and most successful club presidents in football history.